And hello there, this is DrIzixs with another episode of Minecraft on the Banana Viking Server. Yes, we're here in the mushroom biome with our little cow friends over here. Yes. And today we're not going to be building anything crazy. We're going to be doing this. Because I wanted to get some more stuff done on the server here, and also to record something because, well, lately I've been doing a lot of this and not a whole lot else as far as my productivity goes. So, figured I'd have a little episode where I just sort of talk to you guys a little bit. As I mentioned in my channel update video, I've been dealing with some stuff. I've been enjoying some of that that anxiety sort of stuff there. It is the sort where I went to the doctor and they were like, well, you don't seem to be having a stroke, so that's good. Maybe it's anxiety? And so they put me on some meds, and then I stopped feeling quite nearly so crappy. Not 100%, but the random feeling like my all the nerves in my limbs are exploding constantly is much reduced. Won't say it's entirely gone, but it does come back occasionally. Especially at certain times of the day. And so that's still a thing, but it is a lot more manageable, and I am getting back in the swing of everyday life, and that is kind of nice. It is opportunity. Oh, by the way, I've been working on a mushroom around the iron farm over there. Let's go ahead and refill that for us. It's I'm doing a sort of a sphere for the top of it. I'm going to have the edges come down a few more blocks, then kind of tuck in, and then we'll have, I don't know, some sort of weird gooey stuff in the middle. And then a stem down below, but I want to get the cap of it done for the rest. Boink. And to that end, I need a lot of this stuff here, so probably should have put this stuff up. But, oh well, if I run out of inventory, I'll go and get that rolling. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm managing. It's taking some getting used to. Taking medication every day to help keep myself chilled out and all that. It's something I just kind of need to remember. It's pretty straightforward, especially if I remember to do it. It's like, oh, it's lunchtime, so this is time to do the thing. But I figured at some point as I'm getting older, it was bound to happen. I was expecting to be not this, I guess. So I guess there's that surprise. But I'm learning how to manage and figuring out how to still have fun, good times, adventures. Oh, hello. Haha! I'm the winner. Yes. Thing drowns. Like the only thing that can get to me here in the mushroom biome comes out of the water to murder me. I guess there is a couple other things I might want to talk about here. Other than just sort of, well, I have anxiety now. That sucks. So, you might have noticed I'm a bit of a political animal. And it is primary season here in the United States of Americas. And as I put in my Iowa caucus video there, I am supporting Elizabeth Warren for, I believe I stated specifically, her commitment to democracy. You might be like, it's like, okay, well, cool. What does that mean? Well, glad you asked. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Jerk faces. So democracy. Right now, we got kind of a big problem here, known as the Republican Party. The Republican Party that seems super happy with letting any old corruption transpire in our country, be it to hurt their political enemies, to subvert the vote by removing people from the voting rolls. They engage in various manipulations of elections. They actively enjoy letting foreign powers interfere in our elections as well, seemingly eager to give them a blank check whenever possible. We'll, quote, do something about it, but we're not going to actually do anything about it, that sort of thing. So you could say that the Republicans have not been too, I don't know, keen about democracy functioning as it should here in the United States. There is a good reason for that. Power, after all, tends to seek out power, and if you have power, as the Republicans have a lot of at the moment, they'll seek to use that power to preserve that power. And to that end, that means that they are now presently seeing democracy itself as a threat to that power, and so acting to undermine it. And they do that as with various things there, including lots of criminality. The president was impeached for that. And then the Republicans in the Senate are like, yeah, we don't actually give a crap, but we're going to pretend like we do for a few minutes and then say, oh, he learned his lesson, so all is now forgiven. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. And sorry to say, but if you believe the Republicans on any of that crap, I got a bridge to sell you. It's over there in Brooklyn. Real cheap. It's a real beauty. And you gotta believe me, because obviously you can believe any old damn thing if you try hard enough. Anyway, so there's some issues there, and among those, those issues are various ways we can sort of try to fight it. Some of them are pretty straightforward, like end gerrymandering, which I've talked about in my essay videos and things like that. That you can have a situation where the map you're making is still highly partisan, even if it looks nice. So you can actually be very manipulative as far as that stuff goes, and still get away with a lot of crap as far as basically making democracy not work as it should in America. What do I mean by work as it should? Generally, the will of the people should in some way be able to translate to electoral outcomes, and when the mood of the people shifts, especially in a more than a very small fluctuation, then the outcome of government should change. People saying, oh, this isn't working, so maybe we should vote for the other guy. And people actually vote for the other guy, and it actually mattering. Holy smokes. That'd be great, wouldn't it? So that's sort of one of the things I always think about when I'm trying to choose candidates and things like that. And so when I was evaluating the candidates, some of them don't give much of a hoot about democracy, at least not beyond the very basics, like, oh yeah, all for stuff. Others are a little bit more intense, of course. And I guess the telling thing is, especially when it comes down to the question of Warren versus Sanders specifically, is how do the two of them view the current setup in terms of the Republicans abusing the power that they have, and very well may have still, even if they are in the minority in the Senate. Now, for those unfamiliar with the United States Senate, it has this thing called the filibuster, which basically means that, yes, on the final bill, it is majority rule, but in order to get to vote on the final bill, you need to end debate or start debate, or there's just a couple weird variations to things here, and so in order to move on towards that final vote, you actually need to get not a majority vote, but a supermajority vote, because people in the 19th century thought this was a good idea. So one of those rules of the Senate that has evolved over time here and there, but for the most part is kind of a holdover from back in the day of folks wanting to basically not have the government move fast on anything, really. I think I'm going to leave that there. And so you get a problem in terms of the Senate right now, where it is very unlikely for the Democrats to get a filibuster-proof majority, which would be, I believe, 60 votes, anytime in the near future. And so the Republicans will basically block any agenda the Democrats decide to put forward, even if the Democrats have a clear majority in the Senate to support what's going on. Now, there are a few, craptastic ways to sort of get around that, basically breaking the rules and hoping no one calls them on it. Republicans do that. They can get away with whatever they like. They like to break their own rules, including the filibuster rule, and they have done so previously in order to try to get to the Affordable Care Act. So it's like, this is totally okay to do this one time because we just decided it's now okay. Yeah, they don't play fair, and it's ridiculous that the Democrats have to suffer under the filibuster rule and Republicans don't. So, what does all this mean? Why does this matter when it comes down to Warren versus Sanders? Well, given the nature of the Republican Party, and given the intractable nature of the filibuster with the powers seeking and corruption of the Republican Party as it is today, the same option is to end the filibuster. Sanders doesn't want to do that. Which is just kind of like, what the hell? Yeah, you're pretty good at all this stuff, the full checklist. Elsewise, why not this? Are you not affected by gravity? Neat. I might have to test that. So it's like, this is kind of weird. I understand there's maybe some notions like, there is, the filibuster's there for a reason, etc., etc. But that reason doesn't matter, once again, if one party's willing to basically ignore that reason and the other party is being forced to continue to follow it. It's a bit of a double standard, you could say. And I'm kind of fed up with double standards. So there's that. And so I just kind of have to, it begs the question, then, given that Warren does want to get rid of this filibuster, she's all about that, why, when democracy is my number one thing, and, doing big things like Medicare for All kind of requires us not to have the filibuster anymore to even get anywhere through the Senate, then it kind of begs the question, what's Sanders' appeal then? If he actively does not want to have the rule change that would allow him to do what he wants to have done, then that means he's not going to get done what he says he wants to do. So, you could say I have a little bit of problem with that. It could be naivety on his part, but I'm tired of having naive presidents. Obama was good on 70% of stuff there, but that remaining 30% was either, a long, complicated discussion about the military-industrial complex or him being naive about crap. So, yeah, I don't want to be supporting somebody who doesn't get it. And, there will be people like, oh, Sanders gets it. Just explain why he doesn't get it. Did you not pay attention, folks? Jeepers. So, yeah, there's this, the Republican double standard that Democrats have had to suffer under for ages strikes again, and anyone who is not willing to fight against that is not any use as far as defending democracy goes. And plus, the Senate shouldn't have a filibuster anyway because of the stupid rule. Oh, man. Back in the day, we used the filibuster to try to prevent the Civil Rights Act. That sounds awful. And it was awful. But people didn't learn then. People, I guess, Even Mr. Progressive Standard Bearer hasn't learned it still, I guess, for some reason. So it's a little frustrating. And so there's that. I guess the second thing, give me a moment, I get some water. That when I sort of compared the two terms of the long-term health of democracy, is that Warren wants to actively, tackle that corruption issue. She has made it, stated clearly, it's like, yeah, there has been a lot of corruption going on in the current White House, and we can't pull, the same trick Obama did last time, and just sort of like, oh, that's a previous administration, so it doesn't matter. We'll just do better. No. The reason Trump people are getting away with this shit now is because Bush war criminals were not prosecuted after 2008. This has directly led to this, and this is one of the things I was very critical of Obama at the time, and so it's to have that not be like a this is something we should do in order to protect democracy as part of everybody's platform is freaking ridiculous, guys. So the fact that she's kind of the only person who's like said they want to do this directly and clearly is a little ridiculous. And so she gets a big one-up compared to basically everyone else for me on that alone. And even if, everything else was equal, this would be it for me. I guess it's a little frustrating when I run into folks like, yeah, but Obama sucked on this, and he was as big as a war criminal as Bush, and he let all these other people get away. It's like, all right, so are you supporting the candidate that wants to actually like not do that? Oh man. And as well as to prosecute previous law breaking in the White House? No? Then why are you bitching about this to me? Because obviously you don't want to change anything. Because you're not really putting your money where your mouth is here, or your vote where your mouth is here. Anyway, the final thing, in terms of especially the Sanders versus Warren stuff, though, on democracy itself, is that there is once again a weird sort of double standard thing going on here that is very unsettling. That it is, how do I phrase this properly? Give me a moment. It allows critique of certain candidates, and if you question the same thing for the other candidate, you are suddenly persona non grata in leftist spaces. If that makes any sense. I was trying to have a conversation about this the other day where, I was like, okay, so this DNC ate my baby conspiracy crap is gotten too far. This is getting ridiculous. It's turning people off from Sanders. It should be obvious, and it's turning me. This is one of those things that has also turned me off. My priorities are a little different. So if that was the only thing, I might have still been able to go with him. But still, because I voted for him in 2016. It's like, I guess that's good enough. Because Clinton was terrible. So it's like, okay, I would not allow this to be going on in my own house. Why are you guys letting this go on in your place, your spaces? The DNC is not behind snafu in Iowa. The problems with running the caucuses there is how caucuses run. The caucus system is terrible. And you guys only now realizing that is a failure to realize how terrible caucus systems are. It's like, yeah, coin flips decided some delegates, state delegate equivalents, whatever. It's stupid, but that's how they run things. And being pissed about it after the fact doesn't mean the DNC is trying to target Sanders. But if you call this out, they're like, well, your candidate is awful for these various reasons. I'm like, no candidate is perfect. It's like, oh, but your candidate lies. Sanders has lied as well. Here are some examples. He exaggerates some of his statistics. He lies about some of his endorsements. There's a couple other things I was looking up the other day. There are things about every single candidate where they've been untruthful with the public and have either exaggerated or outright fabricated information in order to get you to vote for them. And this should not be a surprise. And because it is, once again, something every candidate does, even the one you think is the ultimate savior, I don't know what to say, really. It's like you're not allowed to have a negative opinion about one candidate that is completely grounded in reality, but any old slight against everybody else, that's okay. Which, okay, that's sort of standard stuff when it comes to campaigns. There are lots of supporters who are completely unreasonable about this crap. But there does come a point, though, where there's just so much active cultivation of it in a campaign. You have to wonder, all right, so they are trying to basically exploit this double standard to their advantage in order to keep the people, the converts, happy and in a siege mentality constantly. All right, I understand that dynamic. It's kind of a bitch thing to do because you're not trying to, appeal to people's better natures. You're not doing it to, you're not, keeping the thing actually issue focused. That sometimes pops up, but when you're talking about this sort of manipulation, it is a little bit more. It's a little more complicated than that. The issue stuff is more after the fact justification as opposed to the motivating aspect for a lot of folks here. And so you got a campaign that's actively cultivating that. And for two ways, this is kind of unsettling. I know this kind of has been turning into bitching about Sanders for a bit here, but it either means that he's A-okay with this and is super eager to have folks coming out to support him, because they are, more angry at, that dastardly Democratic Party, man, than they are anything else, which is manipulative and kind of a shitty thing to do when you're trying to run for that same party's nomination. And it also, kind of maybe makes it more difficult to get the party regulars that you're trying to get the support of to, I don't know, want to support you in the general election. I'm going to vote against Trump no matter what. But I'm not every single voter that has, Democratic registration here. And so does come a point where you're kind of shitting your own bed, as it were. And if they want to do that, that's fine. They can shit the bed wherever they like. It's their responsibility if it does backfire on them. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, back to democracy. So, but by sort of, I guess, hamstringing, the whole process here to actively distrust here, to make it more difficult for the entirety of the party to come together in the end, that is going to make it more difficult for us to actively fight against the anti-democracy sort of elements in our country. But it also makes it more difficult to, I guess, operate the party in a democratic way. That makes sense, but because if it is always my way or the highway, then and you don't even need a majority in order to get what you want. That's not very small d Democrat inside the party apparatus. But there's a lot of things that could still happen. So there is all of that. Second part, though. So all right, so they're maybe they're pulling him into full manipulation, and he's okay with all of this. And if he wants to do that, again, it's kind of a shitty thing, makes it difficult to operate things, all that. But there is the other possibility that he is unaware of the damage he's doing to the party unity while his campaign is. Which is a little unsettling when you think about it, because it means he's not in control of his own campaign. Which, if you're trying to become the President of the United States, and you are sort of helping demonstrate your ability to do that via running a presidential campaign, which is kind of what presidential campaigns are about, you are demonstrating that you wouldn't be in charge of the White House if you got into office. Which, if you're going to be fighting to protect the nation, democracy included, that does not sound like you're going to be able to do it. This might seem a little hyperbolic to folks, but if you can't control your own campaign, if you are unaware of the damage that it is doing, in your name, man, this one's not working. That does not bode well for your ability to basically carry out the job. Whee! And so, once again, I cannot trust you to be a good defender of democracy. And yeah, it's not just people on Twitter being loud. There are people in the real world who are reflective of this conspiracy theory nonsense and various sorts of attempts to have a double standard sort of enforced and things like that. It is something, as I said, it is a problem that a lot of campaigns do generate. Heck, that's how the Republican Party operates a lot of the time. It's like, oh yes, the media is out to get President Trump. Give me a break. It's so ridiculous that the people funded by millionaires, billionaires, would be out to sink the people that are going to give them tax cuts. What? Doesn't make any damn sense. Yeah. Conspiracy theory bullshit. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. I know I'm kind of just tootling here, but I got work to do. Got a lot of mushrooms now. So yeah. So I've given a few reasons why I like Warren, why I think she would be a better option, as well as some of the warning signs for, I guess, quote, the next best option people keep saying. It's like, oh, you should really be supporting him instead. Like, no, there's too much going on here. Too many big red flags and warning signs. So that's where I'm at. So thank you for letting me rant for a little bit. I know it's my channel, so I can do whatever the hell I want, really. But maybe I should move that down a block. Oh, well. Anyway, this has been DrIzixs. Once again on the Banana Viking Server at the end of the day. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, bell, Patreon. You know all the whole deal now. Till next time, everybody. Toodles.